Hi everyone, in this lecture we will make our own custom range function using generators in Python. So let's get started. First of all, our custom range function will take 3 arguments just like the built-in range function. First will be the start argument, the second will be the stopping argument, and then we will have the step. So for this purpose, we need to pass 3 different parameters to the function. So let's define here our custom range function, and I'll say c underscore range. So custom range, and let's define our first parameter. It will be start, and then we will have stopping value, and then just write here the number of step, and let's put colon, and yeah. So a function name, and it will take 3 arguments from the user. And inside this function we will use a while loop that will yield the data items every time this function is called. But we have a problem here, and the problem is that we don't know how many times we need to iterate, because the number of iteration depends on the starting value, the stopping value, and the step. So we need to make here a formula that will tell us how many times we need to iterate based on these 3 parameters. So just write here total underscore iteration is equals to, and I'll subtract the stopping value from the starting value in order to get the difference, and then I'll divide the difference with the step in order to get the total number of iteration. So just write here stop minus start, and just put this equation in parentheses, and let's divide it with step, and this formula will give us the total number of iteration for our while loop. And just print the total number of iteration for now. Just write here total iteration, let's save it, and let's call this function right here, and let's pass 0 as a starting value, and then 4, and the step will be 1. Let's save it, let's run it, and we got here, as you can see, 4.0. But we don't want this floating value, we want here an integer. So we will write this whole equation in int class. So just write here int, and just write this equation in the parentheses of this int class. And now let's save it, let's run it, and we got 4. So let me change these parameters like 4, and then I'll say 6. The step will be 2, and let's write here instead of 6, 10 maybe. Okay, let's save it, let's run it. So we will iterate 3 times in order to generate this range. So we have created our own formula, and now it's time to write our while loop. So just remove this print, and let's write here while, and let's create here another variable I is equals to 0, and I'll say I is less than equals to total iteration, and put colon. And now inside this while loop, first of all, let's update this I. So I plus equals 1, and then I'll print the starting value. So just write here print start, and then I'll update the value of the start parameter. So just write here start is equals to start plus, and I'll add the value of this step parameter. So just write here step step. Okay, and let's run it, and we got 4, 6, 8, and 10. So this is how this function will act. But here is an issue with this function, and the issue is that in our built-in range function the stopping value is excluded, but currently, as you can see, that here our stopping value is included. So in order to overcome this issue, we just need to subtract 1 from this stopping value. So just write here -1, and then minus start, and this will solve our problem. Let's run it, and now we got 4, 6, and 8. And now let's change this step back to 1. Let's save it, let's run it, and now we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The 10 is excluded. And let's define here maybe step 4. Let's run it, and we got only 4 and 8. Now it's time to convert this simple function to a generator. So instead of printing this starting value, I'll yield this starting value. So I'll write here yield and then start. Okay, now every time if I call this function, it will yield this starting value. So I'll fetch all the values inside this it variable, and let's type here print next it. Let's save it. So first of all, it will print this 4 for us. So just run it, and we got 4. And let's copy this line and paste it one more time, and now you will see 4 and 8, 4 and 8. And let's paste it one more time, and obviously we will get an error, and we got an error. So we have successfully created our own custom range function. And you know very well that we commonly use range functions with for loop. So let's use our this custom range function with for loop as well. So let me remove it, and here I'll say for I in c range. Okay, not range, c underscore range. And let's pass our starting value. It will be maybe 2, the ending value will be 7, and the step will be 1. And let's print our I. Okay, let's save it, let's run it, and we got our values from 2 to 6. Our starting value is included while our ending value, which is 7, is excluded. And now let's define here step of 5, and I'll start from 5 and I'll go up to 100. Okay, let's run it, and we got 5, 10, 15 up to 95. So awesome, you have created your own range function in Python. And I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.